Hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn those notifications on because the Sports Hounds start right now.
Let's go! This ain't the rock night, or this game he stinks!
Oh shit!
It's gone!
Happy Monday night, everyone. The Sports Hounds are live exclusively here on A2DRadio.com. He's Brad Ryer. I'm Rob Brinkman. Frank Vesby's producing the show. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Twitch. We're live on Instagram. If you miss anything here on A2D Radio, make sure you turn those notifications on so you don't miss anything. But if you do miss anything, download us wherever you get your podcasts, Breaker, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Takeover Talk, 2022, the year of A2D Radio. Each and every Monday, we're brought to you by Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, 2 convenient locations, Burlington and Cherry Hill. He's our doc here at A2D Radio. Make him yours too. We're also brought to you by Body Check Wellness, a line of products that promote wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. They come in extracts, blends, gummies, and topicals. Use promo code A2D for a whopping 25% off your order. We got a lot of football tonight. We got a national championship game, SEC Nation, Georgia, Bama. Who's going to win? Why are they going to win? Game picks. Who we're betting on. We got the NFL playoffs. Eagles, Tampa, AFC, NFC. Who we liking? Who we not liking? So it's all football all the time here tonight. Let's get into our poll question. Our poll question brought to you by Sunrise Detox. Many of us and our families deal with mental health and addiction issues. We are happy to support the counseling center at Sunrise Detox. If you or anyone you know need mental health therapy or addiction detox, 856-651-8117. Tell them the boys at ATD Radio say, yeah, there's no shame in asking for help. National championship talk. We'll be live reacting to the game throughout the program here, throwing in some NFL. We got the coaching carousel alive and well also. But our poll question tonight, Alabama will win the national championship. Agree, disagree. Let us know what you think in the comments. We'll get to all your comments very shortly here after we kick off our opinions on the game. I'm leading off. I'm coming in hot. Look, Alabama is going to win this game. I don't understand why they're underdogs. Again, I don't get it. The team has been just a human DraftKings ATM machine over the past month. They smoked Georgia in the SEC championship game. Like, not just beat them, smoked them. There's Will Anderson Jr. on your TV on ESPN, 41 minutes to kick off. That guy's a beast. Bryce Young is a beast, Heisman Trophy winner, 44 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions. And by the way, you have Nick Saban on the sidelines, 7-2 in national championship games dating back to the BCS era. By the way, I get all that, and I'm getting a field goal. So I'm firing Bama hard. I'm paying the rent. I'm paying the mortgage. I'm buying new golf clubs. I'm taking everyone out to dinner. Bama's the play tonight. I love them. I don't understand why people think that this game is going to be different than a couple weeks ago in the SEC championship game. We've already read this book. There's no reason it's going to be different tonight. I don't care what guys are sitting out, what guys are hurt, what guys have COVID. I don't care because odds are we've got substitutes for these players that are sitting out, injured, have COVID, whatever, are better than the starters. It's Alabama. This isn't a hard cap. There's 90 scholarship guys. They're all 4- and 5-star recruits. If you have a bad practice at Alabama, you're not going to be on the field. And Georgia, Brad, hasn't shown me they can do anything at all. Every time you step
Not
up.
against Alabama, they haven't.
Every time you
They
step
got
up,
dominated. They got dominated at the line of scrimmage last game, and that's why I agree with you 100%. And I just look at both sides of the ball. Alabama dominated the line of scrimmage. They overwhelmed them, particularly offensively. Their offensive line pushed Georgia around. I don't see how it's going to be any different. And the same thing happened with Alabama's defense. They infringed, or should I say, they imposed their will, and I don't see how that's going to be any different tonight. When you're as soundly beaten in the trenches as they were, and I'm talking about Georgia, okay, what different strategy can you possibly have? What are you going to throw more screen passes? Are you going to try more draws? Are you going to try to hit them with real short quick passes? If you do that, you're playing right into Alabama's hand because they're so fast defensively. So I don't see what they can do, what Georgia can do differently when you're dominated at the line of scrimmage the way they were.
There's Derpy game, and I got SEC committee winning tonight. Boys, show me the money. Who else we got? Bryce Blackwell's in the house. One of our favorites, Bryce. Pete Evans, host of Birds of a Feather. Catch Birds of a Feather every Thursday night right here on A2D Radio. The Bama has a dude with the first name Kool-Aid. They got everyone. They breed monsters down there in the SEC. And Georgia, bless their heart. I mean, Kirby Smart has never won a big game in his life. I think Georgia's pretty overrated running through a very weak SEC West. Yeah, they beat Clemson in week 1 on Labor Day weekend, but Clemson turned out not to be all that this year.
It's not that good. Clemson got their brains beat in by Pittsburgh, so how good was Clemson?
Not this year. It was a down year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
then
they didn't. Georgia was in there. Georgia is the Wisconsin of the SEC. They play in the right division for them, where they don't have the strongest teams in the SEC. That's not to say they don't have good teams in the SEC East. They do, but they're not as good. They're not as good as the teams in the SEC West. Not even close.
Yeah, and then you have Stetson Bennett, who is just a day late and a dollar short when compared to Bryce Young. 44 touchdown passes, as opposed to 5 interceptions for Bryce Young. He's the Heisman Trophy winner. He's going to show why tonight. I got Bama rolling.
And next season he has a chance to be the first pick in the draft.
Oh, I 100% agree with that.
I mean, and that he's the next Joe Burrow. I mean, he's going to be an outstanding player. And we got something from Blue City Empire Sports that they're gonna have a chance to interview the assistant GM from Buffalo. I already knew about that. That's that guy Heim, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna get into coaching.
And that would be a very good acquisition if he came to the Giants. But let's get back to right now we're talking about college football. Yep. And pretty much I think it'll be a little bit closer a game this time. Probably somewhere along the line 38-28, somewhere in that range. I just think Alabama has too many I think they're just physically too strong for them. I just think that's a lot of the issue. I mean, they're how do you put it? I mean, they're physically too strong.
Alabama is Georgia, just better.
Yeah, but they're physically stronger.
Right. And
you know what I'm saying? They have more strength, and it just seems like they're just a physically stronger group of guys than Georgia. At least that's what it looked like game 1. And that's why I just don't think things are going to change. Unless Georgia gets a special – I mean, you have to play the game. And, if Georgia can get themselves like a special teams touchdown, or if Alabama makes a couple of critical mistakes and puts Georgia in a position where they can get short fields and get some cheap scores, okay. I mean, that could happen. I mean, you never know what's going to happen with the bounce of a football. But all things the same, assuming that the turnovers are even, Alabama's going to win this game.
Julio Figueroa, what's up with Brandon Brooks and Davion Taylor? I don't know what's up with Brandon Brooks. I haven't heard anything, but Davion Taylor has been ruled out for the rest of the season. and he's got Alabama winning. Don't worry about Julio. Stick around. We got all your NFL news and notes from the teams that are in the playoffs, the teams that are not in the playoffs, the teams that are looking for GMs, the teams that are looking for coaches. Some are surprising. I don't know how Brian Flores loses his job down there in Miami, but he is currently unemployed. We'll get to all that in a little bit. Ryan Swoop, checking us out on Facebook. I've never seen Ryan before. Thanks for checking us out. I'm picking Alabama 30-27. 31-27, but hopefully I'm wrong. He wants Georgia. I can't stand Saban ever since he pulled that on the Miami Dolphins. I liked him when he was the LSU Tigers coach, but when he pulled that on the Dolphins, I was outraged and haven't liked him since. Yeah, I'm not – look, my motivations for rooting for Alabama tonight aren't because I like Nick Saban. I've been pretty outspoken about –
Oh, I know that. You're just – what all you're saying is the same thing I'm saying, and I don't particularly like Alabama either. I mean, if you're asking me – who I'm rooting for Georgia, but I mean, my money would be on Alabama. I mean,
yeah, I'm heavily invested in Alabama.
I mean, yeah, I can't see them losing this game. And this nonsense about it's very hard to beat an elite program twice. If you're better, you're better.
Yeah, it's like in the NFL when division teams play each other in the playoffs and one team won both matchups in the season. Well, you can't beat a team 3 times. Like, yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. If you beat them
twice, you're clearly better.
Yeah, I mean, if you split it, then you have to think that they have a puncher's chance. But if it depends on the scores of the games. If they were dominant wins, why wouldn't they?
They're running through some of these Georgia defenders on the ESPN pregame show. Nakobe Dean, I'm sure he'll be a popular name with the Eagles, having 3 first-round picks. There he is right there, 67 tackles, 6 sacks, 2 interceptions. He's number 17 in white tonight. You might want to check him out. A lot of teams, not just the Eagles, are going to be liking him. They just had Darion Kendrick. He's a second-team All-SEC guy. He's a cornerback.
He should be available. He should be available when you're
I don't know that Darion Kendrick is going into the draft this year. We'll see who declares and who doesn't. Jordan Davis will be in the draft next year. He's a 370-pound nose tackle for Georgia. So Georgia has guys. They're just not as good as Alabama's guys,
especially defensively. I mean, they're going to have a lot of guys playing in the NFL. So is Alabama. I just think Alabama's got that. Alabama has, to me, a superior quarterback.
The scary thing about
that can take over a game. I mean, I mean, when you look at LSU when they had Joe Burrow, and that's who I'm comparing them to. I mean, they were literally unstoppable, and I just think that it's kind of the same way with Alabama this year. He's really good.
I think Georgia linebackers will be the difference. That's from Bryce Blackwell. I mean, if Georgia goes out and wins and proves me wrong and costs me a bunch of money, oh well. I lose. And I can only look at myself in the mirror with my losses. But, I mean, why weren't the Georgia linebackers the difference in the SEC championship game? What happened there? They got smoked. So, I don't know. Blue City Empire, also Ian Rappaport said the New York Giants have permission to interview Kansas City director, executive player, personnel. The Giants need all the help they can get. I hope for the Giants fans' sake they make some good decisions.
Just don't give me Abrams. Don't give me Kevin Abrams.
I know you're going to really
Abrams, I'm not even gonna watch next year. Okay, I'm serious. I won't even watch if that guy's the GM. I'm so sick of them. I'm so sick of them picking guys that are already in the Giant family or ex-Giant family members. It's enough already with that crap.
Brother BKL Contreras, what's up? You literally think to pick Alabama. Besides, Georgia came really good, and there's definitely a way to win. Think about the game against Auburn and Alaska versus same format. Michigan in the Orange Bowl. Sorry, brother. I don't retype your comment and I'll read it. Reread it. I don't know what that was. Mike Marshall, Roll Tide. Well, Georgia gets 4 or 5-star recruits. Wisconsin doesn't get that. Yeah, but I think that because Wisconsin doesn't get quarterbacks. Iowa doesn't get quarterbacks. You know, these are teams that have great players outside of the quarterback position, but they never get quarterbacks. Like Stetson Bennett, I'm sorry, he's a day late and a dollar short when it comes to Bryce Young. And he's going to be a day late and a dollar short when he's facing that Alabama defense. Bryce Young is an elite talent. He's capable of taking it to an elite Georgia defense. Stetson Bennett, the other way around, shoe on the other foot. I don't believe in Stetson Bennett. I just don't.
That's not to say he's not good.
Yeah, but being good is relative to who you're
No,
playing.
I understand. No, I'm just saying. I mean, it's not like Stetson Bennett is a slouch. He's a good quarterback, but he's not in the same league. It's just he's just not.
But Stetson Bennett, like Bryce Young's going to play on Sunday. Stetson Bennett's not.
Probably not. Probably not. I would agree. Stetson Bennett will be a good backup quarterback in the NFL. That's as far as I could see him. You're right about you're right about Bryce. I think he's terrific. He's going to be the first round pick next season after the 22 season is over.
Probably.
And you know, I see him like I saw Joe Burrow. This guy's going to make an immediate impact wherever he goes.
Bill Middlebrook, Rob, I was with you in your intro about rent, mortgage, and dinner, but I'm thinking Georgia because it makes no sense for them to be a dog. Vegas isn't in business to lose, and everyone is on Bama.
He's got a point. It is officially
but not based on the numbers I've seen. The money percentage I saw on Daily Wager before this very program went on the air indicated to me that 74% of the money was on Georgia, or 76% of the money was on Georgia, and 24% of the money was on Alabama. So the majority of the money is on Georgia, which makes me even feel better about my bet, because if I have 25% of the money on Bama, that means I'm fading the public, which I love doing. So
remember, the public is wrong 2/3 of the time.
So if only 25% of the money's on Alabama, that means the sharp money, that indicates to me that the public is pounding the Georgia Bulldogs, which makes sense because Georgia is favored in this football game somehow, some way. You know, they were favored by 6.5 points in the SEC championship game. You know, now it's 2.5, 3, depending on your book. So, I mean,
I don't get why they're favored.
So to
Bill
Middlebrook's point, the majority of the money is on the Georgia Bulldogs. So Alabama is actually a fade play of the money percentage, which is all I care about. I don't care about the tickets, because I think the percentage of tickets is like 76% on Georgia, like big time in favor of Georgia. So most of the public is betting Georgia. So I'll fade the public and bet Bama.
I just think the public thinks that Alabama can't beat them twice, which I think is a bunch of hooey. To be honest with you, I don't agree with that. I think Alabama is the better team, and they're gonna beat them again tonight.
Looks like we're getting some. Maybe get some game pitch. We got 25 minutes to kick off here. Georgia, there. We'll go with the Georgia wins tonight if Alabama makes mistakes. This is Alabama's game to lose.
Yeah, Alabama has to. If Alabama beats them, the only way Alabama loses is that if they beat themselves. Okay, they get careless. They get penalties because they get nervous around the goal line, stupid stuff like that. That's really the only way that this is they're gonna lose this game.
And that's like the antithesis of Alabama. That's not how Nick Saban teams play football.
No, and his teams are always in the top 4 anyway. So they're used to playing big games, and I don't think this is gonna change.
John Malmos, I want to see how a few players on Georgia play in a big game. Nakobe Dean, who's a beast, he's going to be fine in this game. Jordan Davis, he's going to probably show well. So, yeah, I mean, Georgia's got some guys.
Oh, Georgia, in my opinion, has a terrific defense. But they, for whatever reason, they were physically outplayed last game. Now, if they change their strategy, or if there's some way that they can change how the line of scrimmage was handled in this game, and they can not get overwhelmed like they did last game, they'll have a chance to win the game. But I just don't see how that changes. It very rarely does when teams play each other. When there's when there's one team that dominates the other at the line of scrimmage, I don't see how that's going to change. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see how that changes.
Mike Marshall, Georgia's roster is better except for quarterback. I mean, I don't know about that. Look, Georgia's no doubt about it, by far the second best team in the country.
Oh, I agree with that.
They're just
any doubt about that was proven in their rout of the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, so the problem tonight with Georgia is they are playing the unquestioned best team in the nation. Ryan Swoop, let's see guys go live or video. You're in games in motion once in a while. I want to see your guys' faces and et cetera, and see if you come by surprise, or if what happens is what you expected or more. So your emotions and bring out your expressions both ways. Look, we're live reacting to the game. You come to the right place. We do live reaction shows here all the time, Ryan. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, come join the party. We got a million shows every night of the week. Monday morning, Monday's probably our biggest night. We got Tom Arnone and Ryan Brodo doing the Monday morning quarterback show before our show. And we got me and Brad doing the Sports Hounds for, close to 6-7 years now at various platforms, but we finally found a home here on A2D Radio. And we got Jimmy and Evan doing the Flight Zone after us tonight. And they always got a lot to say. They always got a lot of emotion. So
yeah, you'll be able to catch most of the second half with them.
Stetson Bennett is Jake Fromm. I mean, Jake Fromm was pretty good at Georgia. Jake Fromm just can't play at the NFL level.
Jake Fromm's too small. That's the problem, Rob.
But he was good at Georgia.
Oh, yeah. No, he was very good at Georgia. It just, being a Giant fan, I've seen him play both games he's played. He's small. He can't see over the offensive line. And he's not smart enough to throw the ball blind. So that's just, that's the issue for him.
Brother B.A.K.L. Contreras, first from the Auburn game against Alabama, the first and second half Auburn defense are the best, and second against Bama, way good defense and QB play. Look, Alabama versus Auburn is just a fierce rivalry, just full of hatred. The fact that Alabama won that game, now, they didn't blow them out like they should have. Auburn wasn't that good this year, but, I mean.
Yeah, but those two have a running feud, and they've had one for a long, long time. And that game usually is not a blowout, regardless of the standings.
The fact that Alabama didn't blow Auburn out in the Iron Bowl has no bearing on this national championship game. It certainly had no bearing on the SEC championship game. It certainly had no bearing when they took apart Cincinnati in their national semifinal game on New Year's Eve. Hopefully one of these chumps picks Georgia. There we go. Desmond Howard picking Georgia. Good, because when they all go one way, you don't win. And David Falk, he's going to pick Georgia too because he played there. See? There you go. Do you guys see a defensive score coming from both sides? If not, what about one?
I think Alabama. Yeah, I could see it. I could see both of them doing that.
I don't know if you're asking for a bet there, Ryan, but I think I would imagine
it's more likely to come from Alabama than it is from Georgia.
Alabama getting a defensive special teams touchdown. I bet there's probably some juicy odds on that. That might be a bet to look. They're all picking Georgia. Everybody's picking Georgia. They got that stupid dog on the.
Oh, the poor animal getting muchula like that. Oh my God, he doesn't look like he's all that happy to be there.
That's all right. We'll take Bama. Ryan, he comes on H2 Live, first time on this show. We're glad to have you. Don 19's in the house. Don 19 blowing that first pick.
Oh, Don. Gettleman being gone is music to my ears. But you know what? I'm still in a rather annoyed mood because Judge is still there. So until the daily double is removed, unfortunately, Mort and Randolph haven't made their move to get rid of him yet. So we'll see what happens.
How does Joe Judge have a job and Brian Flores doesn't?
Because the Giant owners are idiots. That's really it in a nutshell. They are such a misrun organization right now, and this has been going on since Jerry Reese's third year. I mean, this has been going on a long, long time with the Giants. It starts with the fact that Jerry Reese took over for Ernie Accorsi and then tried to make like he had something to do with the Giants winning those championships. Jerry Reese had literally nothing to do with those championships. Those teams that the Giants had were built by Ernie Accorsi. All Jerry Reese did was destroy those teams, okay, by his incompetent drafting. Rob, if you remember back in 16 when we were at the radio station over in
yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to mention names, but if you remember our days there, who did I want them to pick in the first round?
Jeez,
what quarterback?
This is when everyone passed on Deshaun Watson. Yeah, you were hot.
I wanted Deshaun Watson picked. Okay, who did Jerry Reese pick? Evan Engram. Okay, who did nothing. Okay, and Dave Gettleman's first round picks have just not worked. Saquon was good for 2 years. Okay, and that since then he's been hurt. His choice of offensive linemen have been just completely horrendous. His pick for a backup quarterback this year. You let a guy like, and I'm not saying Colt McCoy is Joe Montana by any stretch of the imagination, or Tom Brady. Okay, I'm not saying that, but Colt McCoy, from what I understand, last year was a leader in the locker room. He played pretty well in all the games he played last year. I think he played 5 games for the Giants. The Giants, I think, were 3-2 with him out there, and they beat Seattle in Seattle last year. With him out there as the quarterback.
Blue City.
I mean, did they put up a lot of points with him? No, but he never made any mistakes. He was able to complete a lot of short passes, and they weren't afraid to at least throw the ball. With the guys they have now, these backup quarterbacks, I mean, between Fromm and Glennon, I've never seen anything like it. Just terrible.
Blue City Empire Sports breaking news. Paul Schwartz, whoever that is, just announced that Kevin Abrams will not be a candidate for the GM job.
Oh, thank God.
I don't know who's Paul Schwartz. Do you know who that is?
Paul Schwartz is one of the Giant beat writers.
Okay.
So that's it.
There you go.
Yeah, no, he's money. If he said that, if you heard that, if I heard it from Jay Glazer, I'd be a lot happier. But because Jay Glazer is never wrong. Jay Glazer actually predicted the Odell Beckham trade 2 weeks before it happened. So. But, listen, Joe Judge has to go.
Ryan Swoop, do you guys think Chargers first-year coach should be let go after falling that done timeout and made Raiders change their mind and go for the win?
No.
Look, I'm not about firing a coach 1 year in, but, no. I mean, Brandon Staley is not my favorite coach in the NFL. If you remember in Philadelphia, Eagles fans, I don't know if Ryan there is an Eagles fan, but he wouldn't even interview with the Eagles. He turned us down. The Eagles wanted to talk to him about maybe being their head coach, and he said no. So thank God he did that. That guy drives me nuts. I mean, he goes for it on 4th down from his own 18-yard line. They don't get it.
Really, that I couldn't understand.
They gift wrap it in a playoff game, basically a playoff game. Winner goes home.
That was a playoff. That was a playoff game for all intents and purposes.
And then the Raiders are about to, basically give up, and
the Raiders were
need
more
the tie, so you both can go to the playoffs. And Brandon Staley calls a timeout.
First of all, Derek Carr was ready to go into the. You could see they were ready to go. They were in the victory formation, and then he calls timeout like he got confused at what the hell are they doing. So I mean, according to Derek Carr, the guys on the bench were like, "Let's just win the damn game because they're calling timeout." Because they were more than happy to take the tie. They didn't want to
go to the playoffs.
They didn't want to take a chance of kicking the field goal and having it blocked. But
yeah,
but then they pissed them off by calling that timeout. So the Raiders decided, okay, instead of victory formation, let's run the ball.
Ryan Soup, I would always go for the win. Who wants a tie when you can win? But so many make it seem like the Raiders originally wanted to go for a tie. I think the Steelers would have had a lot of bad things to say, and it would have been a very bad thing on the league if the Raiders decided to go for a tie. It would have caused a lot of bad things in the league, and the Steelers would have come out steaming. Well, guess what, Ryan? The Steelers should have beat the Detroit Lions at home when they got a tie. So the Steelers would have had no one.
No, the Steelers have nobody to blame, okay? The Steelers just, for the first half of the season, they stunk it up. Okay, and to be honest with you, the only reason the Steelers are in the playoffs is because 3/4 of the Ravens team got injured. Otherwise, they would have been long gone.
Bill Middlebrook, Flores takes on a team that tanks. Tua was pushed on him, and he has 2 back-to-back seasons, 10-6 last year, beats New England twice. A big one yesterday, wins 7 of 8, and then gets fired. Disgusting. Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all.
It's supposedly the owner and the general manager were not getting along with him. But you know what? The coach, the coach. I didn't realize that it was more important for the coach to have to take orders from the general manager and the owner. I thought the coach was the one who runs the team on the field. See, these are 2 guys that obviously want to meddle too much, and that's what happens. Yeah, and you know what? If he goes to the Giants, I'd be thrilled. Because you know what? Then I could keep Patrick Graham on the team as the defensive coordinator because I liked him.
Don 19. Keep your eyes on Nakobe Dean, number 17. We talked about him throughout the show so far, and he's a stud. And we're going to keep an eye on a lot of these guys because your Giants, Brad, have 2 first-round picks. I know there's Jets fans watching. They have 2 first-round picks in the top 10. The Eagles have 3 first-round picks, albeit not as high as the New York teams. Don 19, his team is picking twice in the first round as well because of the Matthew Stafford trade. So, a lot of NFL fans are watching this from a talent evaluation standpoint. A lot of coaches, a lot of GMs are doing the same thing. Bill Middlebrook, the coach, said that he was going to run the clock and take the tie, didn't want a botched hike or block kick. Chargers messed themselves calling that timeout. They absolutely
that's what I heard.
But this guy, Brandon Staley, he has no situational awareness.
I read that, and Bill Middlebrook is absolutely right. I read that too. I read that article, and the Raiders were afraid of having the kick blocked and having a bizarre situation where the kick would get blocked and they could run it in for a touchdown. They just wanted to sit on the ball, and Staley pissed everybody off by calling timeout when they were going out to do their victory formation, and
he said he quote in this press conference they didn't have the right personnel grouping on the field. The Raiders were going out to knee the ball.
They were gonna kneel,
gift wrapping you a playoff berth. And remember a few Thursdays ago when the Chargers played the Chiefs and he went for it on every fourth down and cost him the game that way as well. These coaches, man. I mean, that's why I love Nick Sirianni. Transitioning into some Eagles talk before they kick the ball here in the national championship game. That's why I love Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni could have led this Eagles team into the toilet, into a 4-13 record, if he just kept trying to put the square peg in the round hole and kept trying to throw the ball at will with Jalen Hurts, who's not capable of throwing the ball at will. He's shifted his whole offensive philosophy into a run-first scheme, and now he finds himself in the playoffs. Maybe Brandon Staley should take notes.
Well, he could take notes. He could take notes if you watched the Jets-Buffalo game yesterday. He could take notes of that because, again, in Buffalo, you had that wind, which was about 25 miles an hour. And, they were trying – basically, Allen was really struggling with the wind. So he finally Doug, what's his? I can't remember the coach of Buffalo. What's Doug?
Doug McDermott.
McDermott, yeah. He finally decided to run the ball, and then they end up scoring 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Now they had the wind at their back in the fourth quarter, which didn't hurt. But I mean, you got to be able to do stuff like that if you're going to coach in the NFL and be successful. You can't always do it the way the game plan sets out at the beginning of the season. If something's not working, you change it. And that was
not Brandon Staley. He just wants to go for it on fourth down and call stupid timeouts and cost his team the playoffs.
No, absolutely.
Look, 14 of 32 teams. So 7 out of 16 teams in the AFC make the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Staley has what? What's Justin Herbert? A top 5, top 7 quarterback right now?
Oh, he's terrific. Yeah, I would say, yeah, he probably is. He's definitely in the top 10.
Definitely top 10.
He's definitely top 10.
So you have a top 10 quarterback in the league.
He will be one of the top 5 as soon as a couple of these big guys like Brady and Rodgers, when they retire, he's going to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league.
So you can't be a top 7 team out of 16 in the AFC with Justin Herbert as your quarterback, and you're hired for your offensive acumen. Like that guy.
Look at the terrific running back they've got, and look at the terrific receivers they've got.
They picked a great offensive lineman in the first round of the draft last year, Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. All the analytics and all the metrics indicate that he's going to be a good player for a really long time based on his rookie year. I mean, you have Joey Bosa rushing the passer. I mean, I get you may have some some stuff to clean up on defense. Maybe get yourself a middle linebacker or someone to plug up the middle, because the Chargers, I don't think they were very good against the run.
No, they were terrible against the run all year. If you remember when we were discussing the Chargers against the Eagles, okay, that was a big issue, that the Eagles would be able to run the ball down their throats, which they did, but the Chargers just had the ball last and scored. Didn't give the Eagles a chance to come back.
Joseph Furakowski, imagine winning 8 of the last 9 games, the GM trading a future first-round pick to move up to draft Tua instead of Herbert, and the coach gets fired instead of the GM. I don't understand why they can't play nice there in Miami. I mean, look, I get it. You start 1-7 in your first 8, and you're behind the 8 ball, and that's bad. But the fact that none of those guys quit on Flores, and you finish, what'd they finish, 9-8 to miss the playoffs?
Yep.
You beat New England twice. You spoiled their party to win the AFC East.
I think part of it, though, Rob, was the fact that in the first 8 games, they were really bad. I mean, they got their brains beat in London by the Jaguars, if you remember that game.
I do.
And I think that had a lot to do with it. And I guess he wouldn't get a mulligan for that, even though his team looked great in the second half of the season. And Tua was a lot better in the second half of the season. I mean, here's a coach who changed his way of thinking with Tua and had Tua throwing short passes all the time. He turned Tua into Kenny Stabler and not throwing the ball further than 15 yards down the field. And Tua was really good at doing that. and they started winning games when he did that. And they fire him anyway. So I don't know. Listen, he could coach my team any day, and I'd be more than happy to see Patrick Graham return as a Giant fan on their defense, because both the Giants' defense was pretty good this year, in spite of the fact that they gave up a lot of points. Can't really blame them. I mean, they were on the field the whole damn game, every game. If you notice, they always started off well, with the exception of the Bear game, and then got tired and finally got beat up in the second half. But, whose fault is that? That's the coach's fault.
All right, let's get. You want to do some final predictions? They're coming out of the tunnel here, getting ready to kick the ball. I'll take Alabama 38-21.
Yeah, I'm going to say I like 38-28. I think that's kind of what I like.
The over-under's extremely low at 52.5. I think that's entirely too low.
Yeah, no, I think these teams are going to score. They're going to score points tonight.
So we both like Alabama and the over. Follow or fade, the choice is yours. If you want real gambling advice, become an A2D member, $9.99 a month. Special shout-outs, merchandise giveaways, all kinds of perks. You get picks. There it is right there. Money Pop Podcast and Willie Vegas. Weekly sports picks from them. But Joseph Orkovsky, he's 37-31 Georgia. We'll see. I just don't see how the game's going to be different than the SEC championship game that was just a couple of weeks ago. Ryan Swift, if Jalen Hurts doesn't get around 250 yards passing per game, what a QB should average in the playoffs, the Eagles will have no chance. They need to make it all about the run while still passing enough in order to keep teams off balance and not so predictable. Look,
they're going to have trouble. They're going to have trouble running against Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay, as far as stopping the run, is one of the best teams in the league. So they're going to have to get some, and their weakness is their secondary. Even the fact that they are going to be getting a lot of guys back for the playoff game, they still, the secondary is the Achilles heel of that team, and they've got to be able to somehow take advantage of that. So,
look. This is not the matchup I wanted for my Philadelphia Eagles against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at all. It was Sunday, 1 o'clock. It's going to go down. We're doing the ramp booth, 11:30 Sunday morning on the boardwalk. Eagles pregame. We got Brian Quest coming in. We might have other special guests coming in. You remember Brian Quest, Brad? He's a receiver in the 80s. He does the play-by-play for the Baltimore Ravens now.
Okay.
Not play-by-play. The color commentary. So he's coming on for the playoffs for the Eagles game. Hopefully it's more than one game, but we're going to be having covered Sunday morning, 11:30, live from the boardwalk, Ocean City, ramp booth, Eagles pregame, getting you ready for the Bucs.
Game's at 1 o'clock Sunday, correct?
1 o'clock Sunday, yes.
That should be a dandy. I mean, listen, I'm very curious about some of these games. The Rams and Cardinals, that to me, there's a couple of games. There's a couple of games that I'm very interested in seeing. I want to see how the Raiders come out against the Bengals. The Raiders have to be happy as hell to be playing the Bengals and not the Chiefs. Because one thing that would have happened had they tied, they would have ended up in 7th and they would have played the Chiefs. So
and they win, they go up to 5.
The theory there is now did they know that? Because if they know that, then I'm just wondering about Bill Middlebrook's theory and that article that we both obviously read about the Raiders being ready to go into victory formation and settling for the tie.
Yeah, maybe they were going to do that, and some analytics assistant said, "Yo, guys, let's just kick the field goal, then we don't have to go to Kansas City."
Yeah, otherwise you're going to go to Kansas City in the first round, because we all know what happened when the Raiders played Kansas City in Kansas City the first time. And, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, look, I'm really confident. Really, really confident in how many games are there? 6 games?
Yes.
Right, there's 6 games. So
6
3 of the
games.
6 games I'm extremely confident in. I feel like I know what's going to happen. I think the Bengals roll. They get their first playoff win since 1991.
Well, the Raiders lost there too, so this year.
So I really like the Bengals. I don't think Mac Jones is going into Buffalo in his first playoff start and winning.
No, I don't think so either.
Very, very confident the Bills Mafia advances. Those are the 2 Saturday games. And then Sunday, I'm pretty confident that the Niners are going to take out the Cowboys. I really am. I don't like how the Cowboys and fans and national media are boasting their chest about how it's a statement win against the Philadelphia Eagles on Saturday night, putting up a 50 burger against guys who weren't even on the team Saturday morning.
Right. Listen, as far as that's concerned, I'm not gonna make too much of that. I would make more of the fact that the way they look, the Cowboys offensively have been up and down, and especially at home, they've had some real bad games at home, and you got to wonder. They lost at home to Denver. Okay, they lost at home to the Raiders. They lost at home to who's the other team? Who was the other one? The Broncos, the Raiders. There was one other team they lost to at home. I'm trying.
The Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, the Raiders. I mean, it looked bad at the time, but that's not a bad
the Cardinals.
Playoff team.
They lost to the Cardinals at home too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if the Cowboys are so wonderful, they should be beating teams like that at home.
I mean, those are good teams you mentioned. Look, the Niners can bang. Like, they beat the Rams twice. They're playing excellent, excellent football. Jimmy G, all he does is get hate. All the guy does is win football games. All Jimmy G does is win football games.
You do know that's, I think, what is that, 5 in a row now that the Rams have lost to the 49ers?
I think it's 6.
Is it 6? I mean, geez, that's – you got to give the 49ers. You got to give the 49ers a ton of credit. They know how to win games, and and if you want to play, and if you want to go and you want to play in the dirt with them, okay, you're going to lose. And if they can get Dallas to go down and play in their level, in the dirt, and try to be physical, Dallas will lose that game if that happens. If Dallas gets ahead of them. Then I think that's going to be, as far as Dallas is concerned, Dallas has to get ahead of them. No,
that's not how the Niners want to play. But the Niners were down 17-0 on Sunday to the Rams.
Yeah, no, I know that. I know they did,
and they came back and won.
I know, and that, you know what, the Rams are lucky that they won that division because the Cardinals lost to the Seahawks. Quite frankly, if I'm an Eagle fan, I would have wanted the Cardinals because the Cardinals, you never know what's going to happen with them. They are a weird team, and they also play a lot better. They were playing a lot better on the road than they do at home. So I mean, that's tough to figure out.
I wanted Dallas again just because I think Dallas is going to fold up. Is that a pick six? Look at that, just like we said.
Is that a pick six?
No, like scoop and score.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's that's the way they can win.
They are. That's how Georgia's going to win. Was that Jordan Davis in there?
I believe so. I mean,
I don't understand what's going on here. I don't have the sound on.
I mean,
touchdown. But getting back to the NFL.
Wow.
I mean, Bill Middlebrook just said it. He's not sold on Jimmy G. I don't know what you're not sold on. Because he's not Patrick Mahomes. There's only one Patrick Mahomes in the whole league.
Yeah, but all Jimmy G does is win. He got to the Super Bowl, did he not? He was ahead
his
of the
arm's
Chiefs.
coming full. It looks like his arm might be coming full. It looks like we got an old tuck rule here in the national championship game. His arm was coming forward.
I'll tell you what, I thought it was, but we'll see. Let's see. Is his hand closed?
That's not the angle. The other game. The other
couldn't tell by that.
And yeah, that's Nakobe Dean picking up the ball and running it in. Number 17. We talked about him for a half hour before the game. They're one of these Georgia defenders that's going to be highly coveted in the draft by a lot of teams. The Giants, the Eagles, the Jets, the Lions. Everyone's going to want Nakobe Dean. They're looking at it right now. We'll see what happens. But getting back to the NFL playoffs, like I don't understand. Jimmy G, all he does is win football games. All Kyle Shanahan does is win football games. So the Niners are physical. They have a great offensive line. They have a great defense. They got two great receivers. They always have running backs that produce, even though they're not the biggest names.
Oh, his arm was definitely coming forward.
So it looks like Bama might get bailed out here.
Yeah, his arm was going forward. That angle, his arm was definitely going forward. So,
yeah, Jordan Davis.
My thought is that they're gonna overrule that, but I'm not exactly the authority with replays. So it just to my uneducated eye, as far as the rules committee goes, that looked like an incomplete pass.
If Tom Brady fumbled in 0-1 against the Raiders in the snow, then that was definitely an incomplete pass. That was definitely an incomplete play. Joseph Urkowski, Ahmad Gardner at 15, Nakobe Dean at 16. Linebacker from Utah. If Dean is gone, I mean, I'm out on the linebacker from Utah. Looks like the call was reversed.
And there it is. The call is reversed. So I was actually right there. How do you like that?
Greg Malakovic's in the house. He disagrees with the call. Go Georgia. Greg, explain to me why this game's going to be different than the SEC championship game. I don't understand. I know the Bama dodged a little bit of a bullet there, but it looked like his arm was going forward, so they didn't really dodge a bullet. I think it's going to be second down here. Alabama got a first down with relative ease against this great Georgia defense. So we'll see. I'm out on Devin Lloyd. I watched the entire Rose Bowl game, and I was not impressed. SEC, Big Ten, Clemson, Notre Dame. Devin Lloyd doesn't play for any of those guys. That guy, Ahmed Gardner from Cincinnati, he looks like a real player. So maybe I'll have to make an exception to my rule for him. But SEC, Big Ten, Notre Dame, Clemson. If you're not from those next to the woods, I don't want you, especially in the first round. So Devin Lloyd, no.
Who was this guy, Sauce Jones, by the way?
Sauce Gardner, I think.
Gardner, I'm sorry.
I think Ahmed Gardner and Sauce Gardner are the same.
Are they the same guy? Okay.
I think so.
Because I keep hearing that he's very likely to be an Eagle.
After watching one game? Yeah, Greg, because guess who he played? He played the Big Ten. Ohio State. Second best the Big Ten has to offer. And you know what his defense did, led by Devin Lloyd? They let up half a hunch. So, if you want to stack your deck on defense with 3 first-round picks, with linebackers from the Pac-12, go right ahead. That's not how I'm building my football team.
That's not a good idea.
Not how I'm building my football team at all. You want to give me Devin Lloyd in the second round or third round like Davion Taylor was, who actually looks like he's emerging as a guy, even though he's out for the season? Okay. But no Pac-12 guys in the first round of the draft. You did a great job accumulating these assets.
Risky. It's risky to do that because, the problem is, who are they playing? They're not playing the best players in the country. The SEC is loaded with pros. It's just that's just the way it is right now.
Didn't Darius Leonard go to? I thought he went to Illinois. I'm looking that up. I think. I'm looking that up right now. I thought he went to Illinois.
Tell you what, Rutgers is going to have 2 guys playing on Sunday next year.
Good for them.
Melton and Isaiah Pacheco, the running back. They're both going to be playing for Sunday.
Yeah, he did go to a small school. Good for him. He wasn't a first-round pick. Darius Leonard, not a first-round pick. I mean, Alabama is just nickel and diming. They're way down the field. This number 18, Wes Welker here, Billingsley.
And you know what the Georgia fans are going to be moaning and groaning about that about that reversal. But and you're going to see
the rules are the rules, Brad.
You're going to see the memes with the referee with putting money in his pocket, all that. That's garbage because that was definitely a pass. If I could see it, everybody should be able to see it.
I mean, the rules are the rules. It was a clear incomplete pass.
Yeah, I mean, his hand was going, his arm was going forward, and his hand was not open. It was closed. He was throwing the ball. Now you could argue that he may have been grounding the football. You'd have a good argument if you want to call that, but it was not a fumble.
So Bama going in, see what they dial up here. I would just keep running the ball.
Yeah, I keep the short passing game. I keep the short passing game going on, and and then run for the first down, and don't try to get cute. It's do what's working. Georgia looks like they want a blitz, and here they come. And he got away. Look out. Real good coverage. Maybe came a little early, but they're not going to call that.
Here's a good question from Don19. What Super Bowl you don't want to see? We don't want to say, or we do want to say?
Oh, I was going to say I wouldn't mind seeing Tampa Bay and Kansas City in a rematch.
Well, I don't want to see Dallas. Other than that, I'm pretty open.
I don't want to see Dallas playing Pittsburgh.
I mean, I don't think
those are two teams I can't stand. So,
I don't think Pittsburgh has a chance in hell to beat Kansas City.
No, that what's the line in that game? Like 13?
It was like 12.5, 13.
Yeah, they're gonna get killed.
Here, let's do early leads. Early leans brought to you by Fan Up, the best way to play daily fantasy. Fan Up, use promo code A2D. You get 50 free bucks. It's only in the Apple App Store. It's Fan Up. No salary caps. Sometimes you're in there, crunch time. You're trying to fit everybody in under the salary cap. Nope, don't have to do that with Fan Up. There it is. Best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily fantasy contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Promo code A2D, 5,000 bonus points, $50 value. They got NBA, they got NFL, they got everything. Best way. Only in the Apple App Store. Tell them A2D Radio say you get $50 free. Early leans. Let me open the app here. These point spreads will be brought to you are according to DraftKings as of 8/28 on Monday night. Obviously, we got some Saturday games, we got some Sunday games, and we got a Monday game, Brad. So we'll have some live reactions, NFL style, next week.
Okay. Alabama just settled for 3, and it's 3-0 after
3-0 Bama. That's pretty good. That's pretty good by the Georgia defense. They
did a good job.
Well, I mean, you make them think about it. You get some pressure. You showed you're going to blitz. Alabama marched down the field, but you hold them to 3.
Yeah, I think Alabama had a definite complaint about the receiver getting held on that last pass, but they didn't call it.
Yeah, and I'm all for letting the boys play. Keep those whistles silent. Keep those flags in the pocket.
Listen, as long as they call it the same way on both teams, then fine. Let them play and let them fight it out. I mean, I don't have a problem with pass interference calls not being called unless they are absolutely blatant and can change the course of a game if you don't call it.
All right, let's get to some early leans. Saturday, 4:30, Las Vegas, heading to Cincinnati. Cincinnati favored by 6. Brad, I love the Cincinnati Bengals in this game. I'm laying the 6.
I would lay the lumber.
Extremely confident.
Yeah, I like the Bengals to go in there and beat them. Bengals have something going at home. They're real good at home.
Joe Burrow is just on another planet right now. Almost 1,000 yards receiving in his weeks 15 and 16 combined. Obviously, he took week 18 off to rest his knee, which got a little banged up down the stretch. But I mean, Joe Mixon, Joe, I'll get to
The Raiders defense is not good enough to keep Cincinnati from scoring.
No, and this is what you get when you let everybody in the playoffs. You get watered down wild card weekend. Yeah, you get 6 games, which is fun, generates a lot of revenue because that's all the NFL cares about is revenue and their money and their TV ratings and the gambling and the whole thing. But, you get watered down wild card matchups. Rob, would you package 15 and whatever pick the Eagles end up with for their own pick and move up and get the guy they want, Gardner or Dean? No, I'm not moving anything up. I think there's going to be plenty of guys to pick from at whatever, because I think the Eagles have 15, 16, and whatever their pick is. You got back-to-back picks.
Most likely 22.
Probably. But, I mean, I'm just sitting there. Defense, offensive line. I would like to see a big-bodied receiver get picked, but I have a hard time, Joe, talking about the draft when I had a playoff game in 6 days. We're playing the champs on Sunday at 1. So we can worry about the draft, another time. But, I mean, to answer your question, it's hypotheticals and it's talk radio. No, I'm not inclined to give up anything to move up the board. I think there's going to be plenty of talent in this draft, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and you just sit there and you just start plucking guys and bring them in. This should be a defensive draft with maybe some offensive linemen and a receiver mixed in somewhere. And don't forget you have a bunch of money too, a lot of salary cap space. So now this drive's big for Georgia, Brad. It's like you held them to 3. You got some momentum. Can Stetson Bennett step up?
I mean,
and there he gets sacked on the first play.
He gets sacked on the first play, and that's not a good sign.
I mean, number 8 there. Is that William Anderson Jr., who's just a beast? I mean, huge miscommunications on the Georgia offensive line. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. They roll the whole off. But, Brad, they rolled the whole offensive line one way. That's Christian Harris. There's another guy, Joe.
The whole line went one way, and he just waited. He just waited for them to clear, and then he had the free shot, and he didn't miss.
And now it's 2nd and 24 against Alabama, and that's just a recipe for disaster.
And I think that play got called back.
So now Georgia's shooting themselves in the foot once again.
That's going to be an illegal procedure penalty. Delay a game.
Is that what that is?
Alabama?
Delay a game. So what now? It's 2nd and 31?
No, the penalty was on Alabama.
What does this mean?
I don't understand. That's delay a game. How can it be a delay a game on the defense?
Never seen that before. But Joseph Farad, I have a hard time moving up for Nakobe Dean when I just watched Christian Harris, a player who's going to be in the draft for Alabama, open the game with a sack. Give me him. Give me both of them. Let's see.
Joseph Farad wants to know Mike.
Well, they dropped the ball. Oh, he got it back. He got it back.
Fortunate. So it's 3rd down. It's 3rd and 5, right?
So something like that. But Stetson Bennett, he is a good athlete. He's a better athlete than Jake Fromm. He dropped the ball. It fell right back into his breadbasket, though. Don 9. Well, let's go through the games. Don 19. We'll get to the Eagles and Bucks during our early leans here. But, I mean, Brad, I have no problem laying the lumber with Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati have a very good offense with Burrow, Mixon, 3 great receivers. Their defense plays well. Their offensive line plays well. I just think they're just better than –
their defense plays especially well at home, so –
now you got a procedure penalty on Georgia. I mean, that's huge. It goes from
that's delay a game. That's a bad penalty. That's a bad.
I mean, you got to snap the ball because now it's 3rd and 5.
Oh, now it's 3rd and 10.
Now it's 3rd and 10. That's a whole different ball game. You can't make mistakes like that against Alabama.
Yeah, because
19 is sloppy. All right, next game Saturday night. New England goes to Buffalo. Buffalo's laying 4.
I think Buffalo lays the lumber.
I think this is a double-digit win as well. Very confident in it. I don't think Mac Jones is going into Buffalo winning his first playoff game. Josh Allen's playing out of this world right now. Bills are really good. They're well coached. Josh Allen's great. They have great defense. It's going to be cold, might be windy up there in Buffalo. All those factors favor the Buffalo Bills. So I love Cincinnati -6, and I love Buffalo -4.
Yeah, if the line stays at -4, you really the Bills are a really good bet this week.
And there's Georgia is going to punt the ball back to Alabama. Fair catch called for by Alabama.
And it'll be first down on the 20-yard line.
Buffalo shows what they were predicted to do. The Don 19er, he willing to trade back with Detroit. Look, I think as far as the Eagles concerned with the draft, I think Howie Roseman's going to set a record for most trades in a draft. Like, it's going to be a yo-yo. It's going to be yo-yo talk the whole time. They're going to be moving up. They're going to be moving down. They're going to be moving back up. They're going to be moving back down.
They probably already know who they want. So the question's going to be, if who they want and who they target is available, then then he'll try to do that. I would agree with you that they're going to try to do what they did last year, and they're going to be moving around a little bit. So,
Bryce Blackwell, he's got the Bills winning. He likes the Raiders to pull off the upset. I just don't see it. I just love this Cincinnati team. I love Joe Burrow. I love Jamar Chase. I just think they're a better football team than the Raiders.
Yeah, I think the Raiders Super Bowl was last night.
Getting the Sunday at 1. All right, here we go. Let's skip the Eagles. We'll do the Eagles last. So Sunday at 4:30, the Niners go to Jerry World, take on the Cowboys. I like the Niners outright. I like the Niners +3. I think the Niners go in there. I think they take out the Cowboys.
Well, the fact that they're getting 3 points kind of tells you, because Dallas should be favored by more. That's a low line. That should tell you that a lot of people are on the 49ers. I think the 49ers can beat the Cowboys. No question about that. I mean, the whole question is going to be, if Dallas can't run the football, which I think they're not going to be able to run the football on San Francisco, are they going to be able to throw it and throw it effectively?
Bill Middlebrook, he's got Dallas by double digits. Thomas Hederick, checking us out on YouTube, he's got Cowboys taking the W. Look, we touched on it earlier. All Jimmy G does is win games in this league. He gets hated on because he's a game manager and he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Tom Brady. He's not Aaron Rodgers. Those guys
he seems to win an awful lot of games, though, doesn't he?
They have a great coach in Kyle Shanahan. They have an excellent defensive coordinator in DeMeco Ryans, a name that Eagles fans should be well familiar with. He played middle linebacker at a high level for the Eagles for a lot of years. You got guys like Fred Warner and Nick Bosa on defense, and you got guys like Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk on the outside. George Kittle is awesome. A lot of good players on the Niners side of the ball, and I think the line only being 3 is extremely telling. That tells me that Vegas thinks that this is pretty much an even-Steven matchup, and they're giving Dallas the 3-point, home field advantage.
That's the customary 3-point advantage, and you kind of have to agree there. Dallas has not really beaten a really good team all season. Whenever they've played a really good team, they've been beaten.
And you got JaMychal Hasty, you got who's the other guy? If he can play. Oh, the Niners running back.
Oh, geez, I can't read it. Mustar, what's his name?
No, not him.
He
started playing against the Eagles.
Oh, okay. All right. But I like San Francisco in the game. I think that they're going to be able to run the ball on the Cowboys. I don't know that the Cowboys are going to be able to run the ball in San Francisco.
Elijah Mitchell.
The Cowboys have to run the ball to be successful. I mean, I know Dak is a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's not, and I'm not saying he's not a franchise quarterback. But he's not nearly as effective when they're not running the football.
No, he's like a better version of Jimmy G.
Yeah, Dak's a little better than that. He's good. But again, we've had this discussion before. Dak is not the greatest quarterback in the world when it comes to throwing the ball outside the hash marks. He doesn't have that rifle arm that some of these other guys do. He's accurate and he's very efficient and he's got very good receivers. But San Francisco's defense is going to keep them down, and Dallas's defense can definitely be beaten. You have to control Micah Parsons. That's the key that's going to be the key to the game for San Francisco's offense.
There we go. Big third down here in the national championship game. Jailbreak, great tackle there by number 16.
That's a great
Georgia's getting pressure.
Yes, they are.
Which they didn't do in the SEC championship game.
Nope. And they seem to be a lot more active on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they're bringing it. Where they brought two extra guys.
Yeah, they're blitzing.
So yeah, they're blitzing.
And they did kind of telegraph that screen pass.
Well, I mean, they've been doing the same play the whole first quarter. So I mean, Georgia's we're gonna have to throw a wrinkle in there at some point.
They did a nice job.
Yeah, Don, it was a nice tackle. And then now Bama's going to punt. But is Stetson Bennett going to – is Stetson Bennett – I mean, the Georgia guy pushed him in. Is Stetson Bennett going to be able to get something going here on this Alabama defense? Bill Middlebrook, he's got the Cardinals making a lot of noise in the playoffs. Have them in the championship. I know everything we've seen and heard, but I see them waking up. And good for Ertz. Hopkins back. Look, I don't know. And
I haven't heard that that's going to happen. So I mean, honestly, no Hopkins, no win for the Cardinals in LA. I don't see LA losing that game.
The Sunday night game is the Steelers and the Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 12.5. That's a thick line for.
Well, Rob, the last time they played, it was 36-10.
I'm inclined to lay it, but I mean, just like Big Ben doesn't have it anymore.
Big Ben has no arm anymore. I mean, did you see those passes? Did you see those passes he was making yesterday in the fourth quarter?
He can't.
I mean, they were like he has no arm strength anymore.
Yeah, I don't see it going well for the Steelers. They could stick around and cover, especially since they got embarrassed, a couple weeks ago. But I mean, if the betting man that I am, I have no problem laying the 12.5.
No, I kind of like that too.
And then Monday night during our time slot, the Cardinals go to LA, face the Rams. Cardinals getting 4. I don't know.
I like the Rams. I just think the Rams when the Rams are on top of their game, they are very capable of beating any team in the league, and that includes Green Bay, that includes Tampa Bay, and that includes Kansas City when they're on the top of their game.
But I mean, you thought they had it figured out against the Niners, and they're going to roll to a division championship, and then they blow a 17-point lead.
I have to admit, I was wrong, and they had a 17-0 lead too. And they didn't step on
I had the Rams in that game.
Huh?
I had the Rams in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Rams in that game, and they were ahead 17-0. Who would have thunk that they would have taken the foot off the accelerator in that game? Yeah, I mean they got lucky that the Cardinals lost to the Seahawks.
Right.
Yeah, Russell Wilson looked like the old Russell Wilson yesterday for sure.
Yeah, he had a couple games down the stretch there that he maybe
showed. The last couple of games he showed who he really is, and that's a pretty darn good quarterback. Seattle just unfortunately this year, when you lose your number one quarterback, you're pretty much gonna for a lengthy time, you're pretty much done in the NFL. It's very, very rare. I mean, it's happened a few times, but it's very, very rare that a team is able to maintain their dignity without their number one quarterback.
Joseph
that often.
Joseph Orkovsky, Cooper Kupp, only game with less than 6 catches and 90 yards was against Arizona. That's the key to victory right there.
Yeah, but they have Odell Beckham now.
Yeah, and Van Jefferson's pretty good, and Higbee, I think he had 2 touchdowns against the Niners on Sunday. So
and Akers got to play this past week. So he got his
I don't trust Cliff Kingsbury, the Arizona Cardinals coach, as far as I can throw him. I think he's kind of got that Brandon Staley kind of stench to him. So I'm going to reluctantly lay 4 points and take the Rams in that football game.
Yeah, I'd be all over the Rams. I think the Rams are going to beat them.
And then, Sunday, 1:00, Eagles, Bucks. Eagles going down there. Eagles are getting 8.5. I like the Eagles plus 8.5. I'll take the Eagles plus 8.5. I don't think the Eagles win the game. I really don't. I said it a bunch of times on these airwaves over the last couple of weeks. I didn't want to play Aaron Rodgers, and I didn't want to play Tom Brady. Obviously, you're going to miss Aaron Rodgers because the Packers have the bye week. And, you draw Tom Brady because they win. They destroy the Carolina Panthers yesterday. They grab the 2 seed. Niners get the 6 seed because they win, so you got to go down there and play Tampa. I saw a lot of Eagles fans saying they wanted to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady because of the injuries to Godwin and Fournette and Antonio Brown, obviously not.
Fournette's going to be playing, by the way.
He's going to be back. And
yeah, there's a lot of their guys. Their defensive end, who I can't remember the guy's name.
Barrett,
the guy with the blonde hair, he's going to be back. I just can't remember his name, but he's going to be back. They're going to get back one of their linebackers, from what I hear. I mean, they're getting a lot of guys back now. So again, they're going to be as healthy as they've been in a long, long time. So I don't see it. I think the Buccaneers roll in this game. I'm going to say 38-20. Now 37-20. I'm going to say that they're going to get 3 field goals. They're not going to get 5 touchdowns. But I'm looking at like 37-20. I think the Eagles will keep it close, but ultimately they're not going to be able to match score for score. I think they're looking at a team in the Bucks that are going to score almost every time they get the ball, and I don't know that they can. I don't think it's possible for the Eagles to do that against Tampa Bay.
I think we just talked about it, leading up to this national championship game. For the Eagles to have to win, and you're going to have to control the clock, run the ball, which is going to be tough because that's the bread and butter of the
That's a bad matchup for the Eagles. They would have been to be honest with you, I think they may have been better off playing a team like the Packers, just because I think they could score against the Packers more. I think they could run the ball against the Packers and at least keep the ball away from Aaron Rodgers.
And like
they're gonna have a hard time. No, I'm talking about if they played the Packers.
Yeah,
I think they'd score more. They'd score more points against the Packers because they'll be able to run the ball better against a team like that. They're very hard to run the ball against Tampa Bay, and that's what the Eagles like to do. And I don't know that the Eagles necessarily have the passing game to take advantage of Tampa Bay's relative weakness in the secondary. I just don't know that they do.
Look, for the Eagles to win this game, we just talked about it with Georgia. You're going to need turnovers. You're going to need pressure on Brady. You're going to need to run the ball and control the clock, which I do think that they'll have moderate success running the ball, even though Tampa is very good against the run. They have a dominant front seven. That's the bread and butter of their defense. But for the Eagles to step up and win this game, Jalen Hurts is going to have to stand in the pocket 15, 20, maybe 25 times and make some big-time throws. I don't know that he can do that. I don't know if he has that
I
in
don't
him.
know if he's going to have. I don't know if he's going to have the time. I don't know if he's going to have the time to do that.
Well, Eagles' offensive line's pretty good, Brad.
Yeah, but Tampa Bay's defensive line is pretty good too. That's the strength of their team.
Yeah, but Jalen Hurts, he has the power of mobility, and
doesn't have a strong enough arm, I think. But we'll see.
That's where I think the downfall of the Philadelphia Eagles comes on Sunday. Jalen Hurts, I don't believe in Jalen Hurts enough for him to stand in the pocket approximately 20 times and make 16, 18, 20 throws to win the football game. I know Tom Brady can do that. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. And I think we're in agreement on this, and then correct me if I'm wrong, that I do think that this is a playoff caliber offense on the Eagles side of the ball.
They absolutely are. I just don't think
their problem is
their defense is. I don't think their defense is even close to playoff caliber. But we'll see. Yeah, they have to prove it. They have to prove it on the field. I just feel like I've seen Tampa Bay at home this year. Tampa Bay has been just beastly at home. Beastly. It just seems like the whole team plays at a whole different level at home. And I don't know if the Eagles are going to be able to walk into that building and win a game, especially a playoff game.
Well, and that's why we're talking about all these defensive guys like Ahmed Gardner and Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean and the who's who of the defensive player pool of the draft, much of which is being featured right here in the national championship. Because I just don't know if they have the stones to stop Tom Brady enough times to win the football game. Because not only do you have to stop Tom Brady, you need Jalen Hurts to step up and make throws and score points.
Yeah, the Eagles are going to have to score. They're going to have to score an awful lot of points. They may have to score 40 points to win this game. I don't know if they could do that. I just don't know that.
No,
I don't know.
You need to get stops. If they don't get stops, and that was quite a stick. I don't know who this number 16 guy is, Mr. Scene here, but he's been all over the football field. That's a monster lick on the Alabama running back there. I don't know what his draft grade is. I don't know what his draft stock is, but I think
looked pretty impressive on that run, though.
Another big third down here.
This is a big third down. Big rush.
Georgia brings the heat again.
And Georgia's doing a nice job keeping Alabama at bay. And unlike
19, he's their best safety.
The championship game, they're putting on a lot of pressure.
And they're blitzing.
Yeah.
Don 19, he's their best safety. He's a projected second-round guy. So, if I can't get Kyle Hamilton, my man out of Notre Dame, in the first round, which I probably can't because he's probably going to go to the Giants or the Jets or one of these teams in the top 10. Give me that guy, number 16 in the second round.
Yeah, this is going to be a very deep draft, from what I understand. According to I was watching NFL Network this morning, and they're all saying it's going to be a deep draft. So if you have a lot of draft picks, you should come out of this in pretty good shape. It doesn't necessarily have. You don't have to necessarily have a lot of first round picks. If you have a lot of picks, you're going to do well. That's kind of what the inference was. And, the Eagles have a lot of picks this year.
Here's Stetson Bennett.
If I were them, I would load up on defense.
Yeah, this should be a defensive draft with, maybe a receiver or.
Rob, I think you buy your receivers and you draft defense.
Buying receivers makes me nervous because these guys are divas and they get paid and they go away. How many touchdowns did Kenny Golladay have this year?
0.
My point exactly.
He's going to get cut though. So
you think he's going to get cut after one season into that deal?
Yeah, because they'll save $12 million in cap space.
But what's the?
They're going to have an $8 million hit on him if they cut him.
And then he's a good player. And then you're going to get him for nothing.
He was. Let me tell you something, okay? the effort he made to catch a bomb by Jake Fromm yesterday. Jake Fromm threw a beautiful long pass to him. Okay, and he alligator armed it and didn't catch the ball. Went off his fingertips. I mean, and even Moose Johnson, who was the analyst of the game, he even made a nasty comment about Galloway. He said, come on, you gotta reach out, you gotta dive and catch that ball. He said that's definitely not the kind of player that the Giants are going to want to have on their team next year, because that's a guy who didn't play, who wasn't playing hard.
And unless your name's J.J. Arcega-Whiteside or Jalen Reagor, all these other young receivers, they step in and they do big things right away. So
yeah, well, that's why I would say. I mean, obviously, you're right that they have to be careful about who they don't have to draft the best receiver available. Just draft a good, efficient player. Like an Emmanuel Sanders type of player. You know what I'm saying?
I want a big guy. I want a 6'3", 220 guy, because I got Devontae Smith and Quez Watkins. As my gadget.
But you have your tight ends are like that, so you can throw to your tight ends. You need to have a guy who has good hands, that Hurts can go to in a big spot, that's going to catch the ball. Besides the tight ends,
look at Don 19 with the good comment there. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he got picked in the 4th round. That's a great play by George Pickens.
Yep,
right?
And that's a first down.
He's a stud receiver.
Yep.
But yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he went to USC, if I'm not mistaken there, Don 19. But 4th round pick, he gets 8 catches every game, albeit on a bad team. But, these guys step in and they do big things.
Both those St. Brown brothers are going to be playing on on Sundays.
Why? Who's his brother?
His brother is also a top. I was watching NFL Network this morning, and they had his father on, and they were talking about his 2 kids. Both of them are really good.
Nice.
So,
yeah, good for them.
Getting two sons drafted is pretty good.
Having back-to-back picks is sweet. Keep 15 and 16. Trade Hardaway. Go defense. Mike Williams or DJ Chark. Names have been forgotten about because of this injury. I'm not spending big money on Mike Williams. I don't think it's smart. I'm not signing DJ Chark. I don't know. That doesn't do anything for me.
Sign a guy like Allen Robinson?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think he's going to be that expensive. The Bears are not going to bring him back.
If you're going to sign a receiver, like if the Packers franchise or let Devontae Adams hit the open market,
he's
that's
not
the
going
guy you sign.
Yeah, but he's not going anywhere. I'd be shocked if they let him go. Aaron Rodgers would he would quit if they do that.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to be there? Is he retiring?
No, I don't think so.
There's yet another penalty by the Georgia Bulldogs, who keep shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, that's got to be 5 penalties on them in the first quarter.
Yeah, they've been playing a little nervous especially on the football. Look at that stick.
Boy, it's tough to run on Alabama. It is tough to run.
Yeah, but Georgia's got to try. They got to try. They can't be passing on every down, because Alabama, is going to get their sacks, and they're going to get their interceptions. They're going to have to try. They're going to have to keep trying to run the ball and not give up doing it. Very impressed with Georgia's defense so far in the first quarter.
I'm very impressed with they obviously have great players. I mean, we've been talking about them the whole.
Oh yeah, no question.
Their game plan is aggressive, and they're blitzing, and Alabama is having trouble making hay, and Georgia's making Alabama for a big play.
Yeah, they're having trouble adjusting to the blitz. But you would think, between quarters, you would think Saban would have some sort of an answer and talk to his offense about how to handle all the blitzing. When they blitz, he's got to hit the hot receiver. Bryce has got to go to that hot receiver and get the ball out. And if he gets the ball out, hopefully he'll have some blockers in front of him.
Swoop the Eagle wants to get Brian Flores for defensive coordinator. That doesn't really work for the Eagles because I believe
he's not going to be a defensive coordinator. He's going to be a head coach.
Or he's just going to, if he's not going to be a head coach, he's going to sit out because the Miami Dolphins have to pay him because they fired him. Right. He doesn't really work here because the Miami Dolphins and his defensive strategy employs a 3-4. We're set up to be a 4-3 team. And, I'm not really that thrilled with getting rid of Jonathan Gannon when we just made the playoffs with Jonathan Gannon as a defensive
Gannon might be gone, though.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get a head coaching job.
I heard he's going to get interviewed for the Broncos job.
Look, if you can go I think that'd be a premature hire, big time, by the Denver Broncos.
Listen, I'm just telling you what I've seen so far.
Don 19.
I don't know if anybody's going to actually do these things. I've heard Jim Harbaugh to the Giants because he wants to coach in New York. Well, who knows?
Yeah, he's not leaving Michigan. Don 19.
I've heard to the contrary that he does want to leave Michigan, but I think he's going to end up now that I think this whole thing is that Miami wants him, and that would be a very attractive job for him to go get. Harbaugh.
Sure. Don 19 weaknesses on the Bucs. Their secondary is a little weak. They're good. They're a good football team. They're a really good football team. They're the 2 seed in the NFC. They're defending champions. They have Tom Brady, so their offense is going to be humming.
They're going to have Fournette back, which is huge.
Fournette, so they'll have balance. Mike Evans and Gronk are fine weapons. And they have other guys to fill in to make up for the voids of Antonio Brown and Godwin. Their front seven's terrific, which isn't a good matchup because the Eagles like to run the ball. If they can be had, it's in their secondary and their pass defense. So that's going to be up to Jalen Hurts. If he can stand in the pocket and make throws, the Eagles are going to have a chance. If Jalen Hurts makes poor decisions and can't stand in the pocket and make throws, it could be very ugly for 3.5 hours on Sunday afternoon for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles show up, though. I really do. They're getting 8.5. I'll take the Eagles plus 8.5. I think that they 28-20. I think the Bucs win the game. And maybe it's a backdoor kind of, they're down 20-13. There's a first down for Georgia. Georgia's on the move here.
And Georgia's in the red zone inside the 10-yard line.
So, maybe it's 28-13, and then the Eagles get one late to make it 28-20 for the little backdoor cover. But, look, the Eagles are 0-7 against playoff teams this year. They've beaten up on the weak. They've been bullies. Trevor Siemian they beat. They beat Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, Matt Ryan, who's not terrible, but the Falcons, they're not a good team.
Jake Fromm, Jared Goff.
Jake Fromm, Goff, Zach Wilson. They're not playing those guys this week. They're playing Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. So it's a different animal. And I think it's going to be very, very tough for the Eagles to win the football game. I don't think the Eagles get embarrassed, and I will reluctantly pick them to cover the 8.5-point spread. Don 19 wants to know who the rookie of the year is and the coach of the year is. I want to say Nick Sirianni for coach of the year, but I can't in good faith tell that to the people here on the Sports Hounds when the coach of the year should be Zach Taylor of the Cincinnati.
Well, that's who I like at this point. He's taking a team. He's taking a team that won 4 games last year.
They had the 5th pick in the draft, and now they won the AFC North, a very competitive division.
Yep. And they listen. There's a few guys. He's in the conversation for sure, but there's a few guys you can look at.
I think Nick Sirianni's number 2 on that list.
Well, what about Bill Belichick?
Okay.
With a rookie quarterback,
Okay, and put him 3rd.
Yeah, he's he's in the
Mike
conversation.
Vrabel, Kyle Shanahan.
Mike Vrabel, you can absolutely pick him because, after they lost Derrick Henry, to still come back and still be the 1 seed is very impressive.
Very impressive.
Now again, I don't know. I don't know if Henry, how effective he's going to be in the, in a playoff game when he hasn't played all this time. I don't know. Who knows what kind of shape he's going to be in, but he's still somebody who, they're going to get 2 weeks. They're going to get 2 weeks before they have to play a game. Will he be back?
I think he'll be back, even if it's just as a decoy and like his presence for a morale.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he can get the ball 20 times, but I mean, this is where Tannehill comes in, and Tannehill's been very effective. He's done a nice job this year.
Rookie
Bill Middlebrook, I think he's still predicting that we get Wilson. We'll see about that.
I don't think Russell Wilson's going anywhere.
No, Wayne Gretzky got traded because his wife made him wanted to go to Hollywood. So, I mean, anything could happen. She wants to go to New York. Bill, the only problem with that picks and money thing is that the Giants are only $3 million under the cap right now.
They couldn't even field the team yesterday.
Huh? They couldn't. Well, that's besides the point, and it doesn't even matter at this point. They're only at the end of the season. They're only $3 million under the cap right now, so they have to cut. They're going to have to cut a lot of guys. So I mean, we'll see how that works out. Seattle's going to have to take back one of their expensive players. It's that simple. I mean, does Seattle take Galladay back in return and pay him the $6 million that they'd have to pay him? Because it's an $18 million contract for next year, and the Giants get a $12 million are responsible for $12 million. Or no, the Giants get a $12 million break. So that means $6 million of it is dead cap space. So what does that mean? That if they get him, they have to pay the $12 million for him? I mean, is that how it works? I don't know. I'm not a capologist, so. But they're gonna have to trade one of their expensive guys to get him. Maybe they send them Bradbury. To try to bounce off the money a little bit. But it would probably be something like a first-round pick this year and a first-round pick next year. They're not going to trade both their picks this year. They can't do that.
Bill Belichick should win Coach of the Year every year. He's the greatest coach of all time. They don't give it to him because it's the obvious pick. It's the same reason LeBron doesn't win MVP every year in the NBA. I mean, okay. I think Zach Taylor should be Coach of the Year. I think Nick Sirianni is second, and then sure, we'll put Bill Belichick third on that list.
Where do you put Vrabel? Where do you put Vrabel though, Rob?
I guess fourth, but like you can get like Kyle Shanahan. You can mention Kyle Shanahan on this list too.
Okay,
there's a lot of guys you can mention, but I think Zach Taylor and Nick Sirianni.
I think Zach Taylor is probably going to be the one just because they won the division, which is, and that's a pretty good division.
Jimmy Rodweller, he's coming up in a few minutes here on A2D Radio on the Flight Zone. Giants stink, Cowboys going to choke, and the Eagles are in the playoffs. What a time to be alive. Vrabel, Taylor, Sirianni, Belichick, LaFleur are my top five. That's from Jimmy. Don, I asked us about Rookie of the Year. I'm trying to rack my brain here. I mean, Jamar Chase is so special, but I think they're going to give it to Mac Jones just because he's the best quarterback.
He's a quarterback, and he played pretty well this year for the most part.
He did. He's in the playoffs. There's a big hit for Alabama there.
There you go.
Wow, look at that. Jameson Williams down, clutching his knee.
He's holding his knee, though. Oh, boy. Let's hope that he's okay.
They just lost Mechie. They lost Mechie, I think, in the SEC championship game to a torn ACL. So these receivers are dropping like flies for Alabama. But that's what they got to hit him with some big passes to keep this Georgia defense honest.
Oh, absolutely.
They almost get there with 4, and there's a little bit of a coverage break there. Yeah, Jameson Williams.
That was a non-contact injury, right there. Oh.
Yep. You see him, and he was probably going to be a top first-round pick. So he's out. Looks like we'll see. We'll hope for the best.
He's done. He was done. He's done. That was a non-contact injury. That's a shame. Gotta feel bad for the kid. That looked like an MCL if I ever seen one.
Jimmy Rodweiler, who do we have tonight? Jimmy, I have heavily invested in Alabama. It's 3-3 here. I'm getting 2.5 futures bet on Alabama to win the national championship. Obviously, Jameson Williams going down doesn't help the cause. But, look, I haven't seen anything that indicates Stetson Bennett can step up and make consistent plays against this Alabama defense. I know they hit a big pass, got themselves in the red zone, but then they were stonewalled by the Alabama defense. So I'm sticking with Bama. I'm sticking to it. Injuries and all, I like Bama.
Joseph Borofsky again. Kind of is in my corner about Belichick. I think Belichick did a great job this year. He really did. Although some of the running backs are pretty darn good, though. I got to tell you, Jones was good, but that Jacoby guy is really good. He's a running back on New England, I believe.
Damian Harris.
Jones, and that guy Jacoby.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, they got some. Listen. They really, to me, they
went out, Brad. They went out in the offseason and they spent a lot of money, a lot of smart money on a lot of competent football players. You know, they bring in Hunter Henry, they bring in Jonnu Smith, they bring in Matthew Judon.
Hunter Henry was tremendous this year.
Great signing. You know, you bring in a guy who can do everything at receiver, like Nelson Aguilar. Not that he's the greatest, but he can play inside, he can play outside.
He's okay, though.
Kendrick Bourne, I feel like Kendrick Bourne caught a touchdown every week. Jalen Mills, a very versatile player in the secondary. And then, you know, you already have guys like J.C. Jackson, who leads the league in interceptions every year. You have Devin and Jason McCourty back there in the secondary. So, like, you got a lot of guys. A lot of guys there. A lot of smart money was spent in the offseason.
Considering how they looked last year, and quite frankly, in Tom Brady's final season, they came back and had a nice season. And it's not easy with a rookie quarterback, because rookie quarterbacks have their ups and downs for sure.
And we'll see how Alabama responds, because it looks like they're not going to have Jameson Williams for the rest of this football game.
No, but as you so aptly mentioned this morning on Facebook, they got guys to come off the bench who could start on almost any team in the country. That's how loaded they are.
Sucks Williams just tore his ACL most likely. Yeah, you're not going to be a first-round pick anymore. You're probably going to have to go back to Alabama, rehab, and see what you can do. See, I don't like that play call.
Lucky that wasn't intercepted.
I don't like that play call at all. I mean, they've been running the ball with some moderate success. You need 1 yard. So, let's run the ball. Let's get the first down.
I mean, if you're gonna throw the ball on 2nd and 1, throw the ball in the end zone. Try to get a touchdown, and then come back on 3rd and 1.
See, look, this number 84 that just checked into the game for Jameson Williams. I bet you he's a 5-star recruit.
Yeah, there's no guarantee though that they're going to get a first down on 3rd and 1. There's a
and now look, you get a false start, and now it's 3rd and 6. Look, 2nd and short, you run the ball. You run the ball. Just run the ball.
No, I think they were planning to run the ball on this play. I think they were planning to run the ball on this play, but there's no guarantee you're going to get a yard against their defense when they're looking for a run.
Don 19. I'll still take Jameson Williams. I mean, I won't. His ACL is shredded. He might never be the same again. I'm not picking guys like that. That's just asking for trouble. It's just common sense.
Not in the first round, at least.
That's a catch over the middle, but he's going to be short of the first down. Be interested to see what Alabama does here.
Well, how good is the kicker? Can their kicker kick a 45-yard field goal?
You know, college kickers, Brad, they can be dicey.
Yeah, I know they can. One advantage that he'll have, though, is he's going to probably be kicking in the middle of the field, though. You know, he's not going to be kicking on an angle.
Yeah, it's also a dome setting here in Indianapolis, so that helps as well.
I know, but you know, it's a little harder. I mean, it's a little harder to aim for the uprights when you're kicking on an angle.
And you know what? That's right down the middle. It's a 46-yard attempt. That looked like it would have been good from 55.
Yeah.
By the way, I bet you Alabama. I bet you that kid that just kicked the ball, I bet you he's a 5-star recruit too.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah, you know, it's he had about 10 yards to spare on that.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully, Jameson Williams is okay for my Bama bet and his sake for his draft stock. Hopefully, he's okay. Hopefully, it just looked bad and he can walk it off and come back in the game.
Yeah, I wonder.
He's really fun to watch, Brad. Really fun. He returns their kicks.
It's a shame to see a guy. I mean, with those kind of injuries, though, those non-contact injuries, they're the worst ones. It always seems like the no-contact injuries always end up being serious. So hopefully that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, he's 6'2", $180, really fast, can return kicks, can play the slot, can play the outside.
He's a junior, right?
I'd have to look it up. He's draft eligible.
Oh,
so
he
he's
is
at least a junior. Yeah, he is draft eligible.
Okay, so if he's a junior, he should play his senior year there and finish school.
Well, if he blew his ACL, then he's not going to be ready to go until this time next year.
Yeah, it's a year. Yeah, it's a year.
Realistically. But, hopefully it goes back in.
Or maybe it's not as bad as we fear.
Don 19, the Pistons beat the Jazz. That's a big win for the Pistons. The Pistons are putrid.
They beat the Jazz?
Yeah.
Nice.
The Pistons are horrid.
There's
not much going on there in Detroit.
Yeah, how's Cade Cunningham doing, by the way?
Cade Cunningham's sick. Problem
great.
is everyone else is not sick. And their second best player, Jeremy Grant, he's hurt.
Oh, geez. Not good news. Not good news for your hockey team. The Boston Bruins lead the Capitals 6-3 in the third period. The Bruins are the team you've got to try to catch if you're going to make the playoffs. They're 5 points ahead, I believe, at this point with 4 games in hand. And they're playing one of their games in hand tonight. So Flyers need a winning streak in a hurry.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you lose freaking 11 games in a row. It's just a total it's a total backbreaker.
Yeah, I believe that they have lost. I believe that in their last 21 games, they've won only 5 of their last 21. I don't think they've all been regulation losses, but I mean, 5 out of 21 is gonna get you every time.
Let's talk some coaching carousel. Wow, look at this.
Look at this.
Turn here. There's a flag down. We'll see what that is.
It'll get called back.
Probably on Georgia.
probably
Phil,
holding.
thanks for checking us out, brother. Thanks for checking us out, brother. We'll see you next week. Don't forget about the rant booth on Sunday, 11:30. A lot of special guests. Eagles pregame, playing the Bucks, playing the champs on Sunday, baby. Playoffs. Fourth time. Is it just the Eagles are in all that? Talk about Jimmy G like not getting the credit. All the Eagles do is win games. Talk about a guy who doesn't get enough credit in this city. It's Howie Roseman. I'm done complaining about Howie Roseman, Brad. Done.
He did a nice job.
He's a terrific general manager. He may not be
the best at picking first round picks, but he finds guys in the later rounds, and to me, that's the mark of a good general manager when you can find guys later.
This was supposed to be a rebuilding year for the Philadelphia Eagles. You made the playoffs. You won 9 football games. And you have 3 first-round picks and a bunch of cap space. And there's yet another procedure penalty on Georgia. They got to cut this. They got to cut this stuff out because you can't just false start like right there on the guard. He's right next to the center. That can't happen against Alabama. We're getting back to Howie Roseman.
You can't keep getting behind the. You can't keep getting behind the sticks.
But getting back to Howie Roseman, he's built equity in this football team. You have 3 first-round picks and a bunch of cap space, and you made the playoffs. It was supposed to be a rebuilding year.
Going to be a little tougher next. It's going to be a little tougher next year, though, because they are going to have they're going to have a much more difficult schedule next year. As far as
really, they're going to draw the AFC. They play the AFC South. The East plays the South. And they play.
Well, they're going to have to probably play. They're probably going to have to play the.
They played the North this year, right? No, they didn't play the North. I was just looking at it. The opponents.
They played the Saints division, the Saints and the Falcons and those guys.
No, we just did that this year.
Right. So who? Right. So who do they play next year then? What was the last time they played?
The AFC is the South. So we're gonna play that bum Carson, Jaguars.
The extra game that they're gonna have to play will probably be against either. Well, it's going to be a second place team. It's not going to be the Jets. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm looking, but Howie Roseman, he's built equity in the football. You have 3 first-round picks. You have a bunch of cap space and a football game, 9 games. Over the last 5 years, the Eagles have been in the playoffs 4 out of 5 years with 1 Super Bowl. The only football team in the league with a better resume than that is the Kansas City Chiefs, who I believe has been in the playoffs all 5 years. And they obviously have 1 championship like the Eagles, and they've been to 3 consecutive NFC championship games or AFC championship games and back-to-back Super Bowls. So, you're in that conversation with the Chiefs and the Steelers and Tampa Bay, teams that are recognized as powerhouses. And the only constant, not only did you not have a franchise quarterback during this stretch, but, you don't have a franchise quarterback in this stretch. The Bucks have Brady. The Packers have Rodgers. The Chiefs have Mahomes. So I'm done complaining about Howie Roseman. He's excellent with the cap. He's excellent at negotiating contracts. He's and he's an excellent talent evaluator. Doesn't always work out for him in the first round, but like you said, Brad, he fills out this roster.
That's the whole thing. It's not just first round picks. Okay, if you hit on a second or third or fourth or fifth round pick, I mean, Jalen Hurts was a second round pick.
Dallas Goedert, second round pick. Jason Kelsey was a 5th round pick. Jordan Mailata, undrafted, maybe a 7th round pick. I forget. Lane Johnson, you pick him at the top of the draft. You get Gardner Minshew in here to be your backup quarterback for a 6th round pick. He's probably going to get traded in the offseason for a 4th round pick. You trade for Darius Slay. So all these guys are key
How
contributors.
many more years do you think Slay can play at a high level? That's a question. That's a little bit of a question mark.
He's getting paid big next year. What a throw by Bryce Young. He's off to the races. Get in there.
Yeah, we'll catch him.
Let's go.
Okay. Got to the 7.
Let's go. Let's go.
Flag. No flags. I'll tell you what, if Alabama gets in on this drive, look out. If they get a 2-possession lead, that's going to be tough.
I've been extremely impressed with Bryce Young in this first half because Georgia has thrown the kitchen sink at this kid, and he is just standing in the pocket and taking it stride for stride with one of the best defenses in the whole country. Probably the best defense in the country.
And you know what he's taking
outside Alabama.
He's taking some shots too.
By the way, his 2 best receivers are not in the mix right now.
All right, so what's it? 2nd and goal from the 5?
Yes, Don. I have a significant amount of money on Alabama. Significant. So we're gonna ram this home, and we're gonna play some defense right there. That's a touch. Come on, catch the ball.
Oh, he dropped it.
Damn it. I think they're lucky that's not picked. Let's look at the replay here.
No, I thought he had it and he just lost it.
Yeah, you're right.
He had it.
Yeah, he dropped it.
Yep.
Joseph Orkowski loves the Flyers.
A bad place in the hands.
Joseph Orkowski, Brad, I'll let you take this one. I love the Flyers more than any of the other 3 Philly teams, but the franchise is a mess. They are closer to relocating to another city than they are winning a cup. This franchise died with Mr. Snyder. It's a disgrace.
I've heard a lot of people talking about the fact that it died with Snyder. It hasn't been good for a while. I mean, you take a look the last 9 years, they've missed the playoffs 5 of the last 9 years. So it's not like they've been a pinwheel. They haven't been a pinwheel of I'm sorry, no, they made the playoffs 5 of the last 9 years. But you know what? They're gonna miss the playoffs this year the way things are going, because it's going to take a miracle for them to make it now. Because as I said before, they're already 5 points behind Boston. Realistically, with 4 games in hand, you could expect Boston to probably get 5 points minimum on the games in hand. Okay, so you're talking at least 10 points behind. And in hockey, that's a lot. It's not just like 5 games, because you get a point for losing in overtime. So I mean, that's tough. It's going to be. They're going to have it's going to be a real challenge for them to make the playoffs. And they made some pretty good moves, I thought, over the summer. They've just been very disappointing in Philadelphia for the Flyer fans, I'm sure.
Brad, last thing.
It would be ugly if they had to trade Peru.
Last thing before we get out of here, what's the most attractive open job in the NFL right now? Obviously, we have Black Monday today. Brian Flores gets fired. Matt Nagy gets fired. Mike Zimmer gets fired. Vic Fangio gets fired. The Raiders are kind of up in the air with what they're doing, even though maybe they should just promote that guy since he made the playoffs. I feel like I'm missing.
Who knows with them? I think Miami is by far right now the most. Well, no, you know what? I take that back. Minnesota might be actually the most desirable job right now, because Minnesota, you got a superstar running back, you got a superstar wide receiver, you got a pretty good offensive line in Minnesota and a pretty good defensive line. If you could change your scheme defensively to be better defensively, that probably would help. Minnesota's close.
What do you think about the Bears, John?
I don't think the Bears are any good. I'm not as high on Fields as you are, to be honest with you. He was good in college, but he hasn't. It's going to be another Barrett. I mean, that's the problem. Remember that guy Barrett that was on Ohio State, the quarterback?
Yeah, I hear you.
And he was really good in Ohio State, and he never
Look,
really.
I like Montgomery. I like Cole Kmet. I like Darnell Mooney. They always seem to figure it out on the defensive side of the ball. I think
That's
that
because they have all
Matt
their
Nagy.
money. Yeah, but they have all their money on the defensive side of the ball. That's the problem. That's why they've had so much. That's why they've struggled on offense.
And Matt Nagy.
spent
Matt Nagy
all
was
their
a
money on
boot.
that. Yeah, no, Nagy. Listen, Nagy had a good first year with them. I think he won 10 games his first year, didn't he?
Yeah,
I'm
and they
not
lost the
mistaken.
playoffs. They went to the
And then
playoffs
they-
2 years in a row, and then the bottom fell out.
Yeah, but is it his fault that they traded up for Mitch Trubisky? Well, that's
He
why.
went to
I
the
guess that's why.
playoffs. He went to the playoffs twice with Mitchell Trubisky.
I know, but but the general manager got fired too. Yeah, but they didn't have to trade up for Mitchell Trubisky. That was the point. I mean, they gave up way too much for him. So, honestly, I think that right now the most attractive job has to be the Minnesota job, because again, you've got Cook, you've got the receiver. That franchise. If I had a choice of franchises, and I wanted to win, I think that's a team that can win right away. All they need, and don't forget that Thielen was hurt the last few weeks. I mean, that team is right there. I don't understand how they didn't, even with Kirk Cousins being as inconsistent as he is, that team should have been better than they were.
All right, that'll do it for the Sports Hounds this week. Stay tuned for the Flight Zone coming up next. He's Brad Ryer. Thanks to Frank Vesby from Rouge's Show. Thank you to our great sponsors. Thank you to everyone who commented, liked, subscribed, and shared the show. Until next Monday, we got Wild Card Weekend coming up, culminating with the Sports Hounds live reacting to the Rams and the Cardinals. Until then, peace out, everybody.